And the Braves going to pin their ears back and try to get to him. Going to fire across the middle. He's got a man there. Counsell Allen makes a big grab right at midfield. But they have no points to show for it right here. And this time going to try to throw one. Oh, pressure and a sack. He goes down, and that time held onto the ball just a split second too long. So 8:20 left here in this first half. 3-0 the score. Blazers trying to make something happen. Going to fire deep and over the middle. There's Allen. He's got the catch. Breaks off of a tackle, still going. 25-20 down the sideline and finally shoved out of bounds. And we appreciate you guys being with us right here. Trey Robinson going to keep this one on the ground, but not much doing at all, though. Again, the Blazers this time with the upfield push. And again, the loss in the backfield.
If you're a OC.
Robinson again trying to get rid of it. He won't be able to, though. Big rush, and it caves in on him all the way back at the 42. Wow. And welcome to this week's episode of the Graham Craig Coaches Show. I'm your host, Dave Garner, in for the first time this year along with Coach Craig. Coach, thanks for being with us right here. A hot afternoon in Titletown. Of course, a tough ball game as the Blazers fall 31-0 to UNC Pembroke. The Braves, of course, coming in playing a great ball game here today. Coach, I hate it's under the circumstances. I've been jealous of Wade Beal, who's been able to coach this, host the show on the road this year for a few weeks. I get to sit down with you for the first time, unfortunately under different circumstances, but talk about this game today. I know the last thing you want to do is sit down with us and talk about a game like this, but talk about what you learn about your team from an instance like this.
Yeah, first, a lot of credit to them. Playing really good football. They're doing a great job right now. But ultimately, just a lot of things to clean up. You can't win when you turn the ball over as much as we did today. Thought, defense played a really good first half. Just gave up the touchdown there right for the half, and offense couldn't do anything to support them. And then in the second half, a couple big plays kind of put us behind, and then just continued to get into a bigger hole. And right now, just told the team, apologize for the way off a bye week, and that's on me to get it fixed, and it's on us as a group to get it fixed.
Like we said, you learn a lot of things about yourself, about the team in a situation like this. There were some bright spots, definitely some positives, and we'll talk about those. What unique challenge those coming into this game, though, did you feel like UNC Pembroke presented for you guys on tape?
Yeah. A lot of pressure on defense, and that was something we knew we were going to have, and we didn't handle it in the run game. Some of the stunts up front, couldn't get the run game going early, and even when they were bringing forward, struggled to pass protect early in the game, and created some pressure, some negative plays to get us behind, and then ultimately the turnovers really hurt us.
Sure, we saw Jamison Holcomb and Harris Boyd in this ball game today, but really neither one of those guys felt very comfortable, it seemed like, in the pocket, able to kind of set their feet and throw into it. Credit that Braves defense, their pressure up front, certainly a big part of the ball game. I know defensively, though, your backs were against the wall several different times. They kind of won the battle of field position, but you guys dug in several different times and turned them away throughout the ball game.
We did. I thought our defense played well in the first half, played really well, and outside of that touchdown right for the half, we put them in some bad situations offensively, and they still found a way to get out of it. So just got to play supportive football, and offense has got to get it going.
There you go. Definitely looking forward to hearing a little bit more about this ball game, and certainly moving from this ball game. Of course, a big ball game coming up next week that we'll talk about a little bit later on the show. But here, of course, with Graham Craig, the head coach of the Valdosta State Blazers, and we'll talk about this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick time out. When we return, we'll talk about the first half and break it down for you. Stay with us right here on the Coach Graham Craig Coaches Show.
After the Colonel made his hot and spicy wings, he needed the perfect pairing. So he invented the potato. No need to look that up. It's true. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. Backed by obsessive demand, KFC wings and wedges.
All right, boys and girls, I want you to draw for me what you want to be when you grow up.
I want to be a chef. I want to be a teacher.
The only thing more wonderful than our kids' dreams is when those dreams come true. That's why the Georgia Lottery has raised over $28 billion for education, benefiting over 2 million pre-K students and over 2.1 million Hope Scholars. Because amazing things happen when hope finds a way.
The Houston Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Clinic has been at the forefront of sports medicine since 1949. and has served Valdosta and the surrounding area for the past 40 years. Treating athletic injuries for all of South Georgia, Houston doctors are team physicians for the Lowndes Vikings, Thomas University, Colquitt County Packers, and Valdosta State University. Call for an appointment to see your sports medicine specialist.
And welcome back to the Graham Craig Coaches Show. I'm your host, Dave Garner. Thanks for being with us right here. I want to thank you, all of our watchers and listeners. I want to thank all of our sponsors for being back on board with us as well. Again, a lot of support in the community. Coach, I know I read a lot of liners today from sponsors and a lot of events that some of the other sports teams have going on in campus. A lot of teams and people really rallying around this football team this season.
Definitely. Thought great atmosphere today. Blazer Walk was an awesome atmosphere, and obviously we got to do what we can on the field to get a better output than what we did today. A
lot of tailgating going on. When I pulled up today, I got here actually a little earlier than I normally do, and man, I mean, there was just an atmosphere. I mean, music bumping in 3 different directions. You know, I mean, there was a lot of great things going on around campus. It just goes to show you how much football means, of course, to this town and to this school. Of course, the Blazers with their first home game of the season already. 3 weeks, I guess, basically into the season, plus the bye weeks, so really 4 weeks. First of all, before we jump into the first half, talk about the complexion of the schedule and not starting until, I mean, we're almost in October now before you guys finally get that first home game.
Yeah, you know, obviously that's to play your first home game in basically what's week 4 with a week 0. So, but that's something that, you know, just with the way the schedule worked out. But our guys were excited to play at home today. Like you said, great atmosphere. I thought we had a good crowd. We just got to find a way to play better.
Here we go. Let's go ahead and jump into the first half here a little bit. Teams really trading possessions early on there, and it seemed like Coach early on in the ball game, it was kind of played between the 30s for the most part. Things kind of stayed down, I know, on the west or on the east end zone down there a lot. And again, several scoring opportunities early, just really couldn't get the field position. Your defense did dig in. No score after the first quarter, but talk about that opening quarter and kind of what you saw coming at you from that Braves defense.
Yeah, like I said, you know, some of the movement up front struggled with, couldn't get the run going, stayed in some long third down situations, struggled to block both defensive ends, really good players, struggled to block them one-on-one early, and made some adjustments after that, and were able to convert some third downs. But like you said, was able to play some field position, but could never get an opportunity to get in the red zone and get any points.
You guys overcame the chains on that opening drive. You converted a 3rd and 15 there on that first drive. After that, it got a little bit tougher, though. It's hard to play behind the chains when you're playing against a team like UNC Pembroke that gets upfield well. Third down, definitely a challenge today.
It was. We made a couple plays early on those, but just stayed in 3rd and long, and when we couldn't run the ball early on 1st and 2nd, struggled to, and stayed in those situations against the team that puts pressure on the QB like that is tough.
Right. Moving into the second quarter, still scoreless, by the way. No score in that first quarter after teams just basically kept trading possessions there. UNC Pembroke would get on the scoreboard at the 9:39 mark with a Taylor Harris 26-yard field goal to make it 3-0. You guys would quickly answer down the field in getting to scoring range as well, getting in the red zone there, had an opportunity for points. Yeah. Unfortunately, a missed field goal from 27 yards there, but you had to feel pretty good about the way overall you guys were moving the football.
We were. Once we started kind of staying on schedule and not hurting ourselves, we were able to move the ball and get in position. Obviously got to hit the field goal there, but had some other chances to where, early in those 1st and 2nd down, we had a chance to possibly score there. So just got to hit the field goal, obviously, but had some chances also to score a touchdown.
Sure. So, later on in that second quarter as well, teams would trade possessions. Once again, it kind of came down to the end. You guys had a great drive rolling right before the half. Looked like you were going to take the lead, which could have been a big momentum builder, but the fumble there is, as again, Holcomb was going to the ground. It almost looked like he was down, but that ball popped loose. They recover it, and they end up converting that drive into a late score right before the half. I know that was a big killer right there, but 10-0 at that point.
It was. Huge momentum shift there. We're going into potentially have a chance to tie it at the half at worst if we hit a field goal, and gave it to them, and they did a really good job converting and getting points there before the half.
Braylon Anderson back deep along with Hall, and of course number 6 Reddick, as you mentioned back there, as Harris puts his foot into it. And again, this one returnable from just inside the 5-yard line. They will fair catch it, though, and it will come on out there. Simmons up front, Hood, Ford, Boone, certainly a guy to watch at the defensive end spot. This time the Blazers will keep it on the ground, and not much there, though, at all. And the Braves going to pin their ears back and try to get to him. Going to fire across the middle. He's got a man there. Council Allen makes a big grab right at midfield. Get Walter with a 44.3-yard average, 11th in the nation right now. Let's get that snapped down. And again, the return right here. Bobbled. It's on the ground. It's loose. Everyone diving on that ball again. That was Anthony Green back there, it looked like. Jaquan Albright, again, certainly a guy to watch today. They go back to him right there on the slant, but that one just a little bit in front of him. A different look, a new look. Blazer defense, of course, under Greg Harris, as we've talked about, but also some familiar faces as well. Robinson here, he's got a deep out. He's got a man wide open. That is number 2, again, Q Kennedy, but lost the ball and it stripped away from him, and now the Blazers pick it back up. They're going the other way with it.
Showed it right there.
So a loss of a couple, 2nd and 12. Going to swing this one out. Up across the 25, puts his shoulder down and barrels ahead across the 30. Tied in motion right there, who settles into that H-back spot. A little quick slant right here, and that one was intercepted. Was that intercepted? And it was. What a jump on the ball. Back to work. The receiver in motion. And they will hand it to Felder, his first carry of the afternoon, or his second. Takes it inside the 35. He'll have about 3 yards on first down. Bottom of your screen. Trey Robinson going to fire inside, though, in and out of the hands of the intended target. That was Jordan Marcucci, but it was well played. And right now, though, it's on Holcomb, and 3rd and 7. Again, under pressure, going to throw a long one. He's got a man open. Makes a nice move at the 35, still on his feet to the 40-yard line.
Too much to handle so far for the Braves.
And once again, Holcomb under pressure, sidesteps a would-be tackler, throws one into the hands of Watts out of the backfield. And boy, he kind of... They have no points to show for it right here. And this time going to try to throw one. Oh, pressure and a sack. He goes down, and that time held onto the ball just a split second too long. And here's Robinson again, looking. He's got plenty of time now under pressure. Flush to the near side. Fires. Oh, a receiver slips inside the 30. And this is Robinson again looking to throw. Steps up under pressure. Wiggles out of trouble. Robinson, the team's leading rusher coming into the game today, right at 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. But this time they hand it to Felder and going nowhere. Great job by that Blazer defense to string the play out a bit. But UNC Pembroke trying to take the first lead of the ball game. His foot is into it, and the lefty has it. So a 5-yard procedure penalty and then a 3-yard loss, and now they'll throw it out of the backfield right here. Good bit of blocking going on downfield from the receivers this time, and a nice job to fight back to almost the original line of scrimmage.
We apologize for that for our listeners and viewers.
So 8:20 left here in this first half. 3-0 the score. Blazers trying to make something happen. Going to fire deep and over the middle. There's Allen. He's got the catch. Breaks off of a tackle, still going. 25-20 down the sideline and finally shoved out of bounds. Here's Robinson out of the gun. More pressure right in his eyes. He'll go down back inside the 10-yard line. And we appreciate you guys being with us right here. Trey Robinson going to keep this one on the ground, but not much doing at all, though, off the scoreboard today. And now the Blazers will go back to work. They'll keep it on the ground right here. Tough run. Bring a couple of the bigger bodies over to the near side. And just going to keep it on the ground right here. Trying to reverse field. First down run for the Blazers. And this time going to go back to the air, presumably. Holcomb just going to keep it. Nowhere to go down the field. Oh, lost the handle on the ball. And it looks like they are letting this play go on here again. Tripped up at the 35-yard line. And now it's the Braves who would like to put another score on the board. They've still got a minute and a half, basically, and a timeout. And now Trey Robinson back to work. He gets rid of it. That one just beyond the fingertips.
For Pembroke, you want to make sure to not take a sack.
This time going to throw it, and that one is there. Wow, touchdown. Put that ball up in the air and found an open receiver. The Blazers shut out in the first half 10-0. The score at halftime. Coach, what was your message to the team during the break?
You know, we felt like we made a couple adjustments to help with protection up front, but there were some things that we were doing well, like the drive before we turned it over, so we got to where we got some rhythm on offense. So felt good about the way we were playing, just needed to execute better. And you know, the message to the defense was continue doing what you're doing, and you played well enough. We got to just put it all together as a whole team.
There you go, 10-0 the score at halftime. Blazers still very much in it, a very competitive ball game in that first half. We're going to go ahead and take another timeout. When we return, we'll break down the second half for you of this matchup against UNC Pembroke. Stay with us right here on the Graham Craig Coaches Show.
Get ready. MediaCom is now
Mobile?
well, not just mobile, but a 5G mobile network with reliability you can count on.
Really?
Just check out this map. Coast-to-coast coverage, plus hundreds of free extreme hotspots. It's an unbeatable network, and we've got some unbeatable prices, too.
But I love this phone.
Easy. Keep your phone when you switch. And guess what? You'll love it even more. MediaCom Mobile. Learn more today.
SGMC Health is with you every step of the way, growing to better serve you with transformative projects including a new women and infants tower and emergency room, bringing you the best in medical care with our cutting-edge technology, ensuring your family can get the care you need close to home by training the next generation of top doctors right here in South Georgia. Together, we're creating a healthier future for our community. SGMC Health, a proud supporter of the Blazers.
And welcome back to the Graham Craig Coaches Show. Again, Coach, we're getting ate up by gnats here today. We were joking around about that under the lights here at Bazemore Hyder Stadium. We appreciate you guys being with us on another episode. Again, my first episode of the year. The home episodes, of course, my partner in crime, Wade Beal, our radio team, of course, with the road shows there. But, Coach, I've got you for the next couple weeks, and I'm excited about that. Let's talk about, coming out of the locker room in the second half. You guys were trailing 10-0, but very much in the ball game, moving the football, but they come out, their opening drive basically in that third quarter turns into points, and now you find yourself in a little bit of a hole. Yeah,
They came out and took a lot of time off the clock for one, and ran the ball well and was able to get some points, and then offensively, once you're down 17, you're going to have to score a little bit quicker and get going, and wasn't able to do it, turn the ball over a good bit in the second half.
We're going to hear from some of the guys, of course, that made an impact on the game today. One of those guys, Council Allen, had a lot of big plays. You guys were able to get some chunk plays in the passing game, though, today, especially in that second half.
We were. Council made some great plays, like you talked about, some of the third downs, and going up and getting the ball in the middle of the field and doing something with it after the catch. And just once we got in those situations, just couldn't convert on those. Once we got those first downs to get into the score zone, just couldn't do it.
Right. I know there was one play in particular in the second half. Defensively, you guys had them at a 3rd and 19, but they get 20 yards and they convert. So obviously a tough one there. And then the flip side of that, they had a situation too with a long third down. They're able to turn that into a long touchdown. Again, Kennedy with the pass reception there at the 4:11 mark of that third quarter on their next drive after that first score. So 24-0, basically the score at the end of the third quarter. And at that point, I know you guys were still fighting. That's one thing I noticed is that really this team showed a lot of resiliency and fight throughout the ball game, even getting down the way you guys were. Guys kept fighting.
We did. Thought, even with the way the offense played, the defense continued to play hard, continued to support, and that was the message in the locker room. Is obviously offense didn't play well enough today, and us in the locker room is going to have to be the guys that get it fixed, and we're going to have to do that together.
Sure. Moving into the fourth quarter now, again, just one score in that fourth quarter. It came at the 10-minute mark there. Again, Davis with the pick six there, and seemed like so many times, man, things were going in your direction, one step forward, though, but 2 steps back, a lot of procedure penalties, things like that. A couple of late-game interceptions there where balls were just kind of bobbled off of fingertips. Just kind of that crazy kind of game where things just didn't bounce your way.
It did. It had a tip ball interception that was about to get us to probably a first down there, and the pick six ended up, he's got held up out of his break, and corner made a really good play, but just couldn't. We'd get 2 big plays, and then we get into a long down and distance, or get 2 big plays and then have a turnover, and just couldn't get it going for whatever reason.
Yeah, fourth quarter, of course, kept winding down. The Blazers kept moving the football, just couldn't finish drives here today. Obviously, you guys had been very successful in the red zone, 11-12, I believe, coming into the game here today. Obviously, with that pressure coming in, the way the Braves were coming after you guys defensively, certainly tough for the offense today. But, again, you had to be pleased about certain elements of the ball game. I know it's one you'd probably rather soon forget, but what are some of those teaching moments and things that you feel like you'll take away once you look at the tape?
Yeah, like I said, defensively there were some highlights. I thought, the play Rance Connor made early in the first half, not giving up and getting the punch out on the turnover, and that was some of the things when you talked about the defense being able to make plays to keep us in it in the first half. Thought some guys in the secondary played really well. I had to play a lot of snaps with the way we played offensively, and got a lot of guys in, and outside of the big play on the third and short that they got the long touchdown, thought overall the secondary played well.
And here's the opening second half return, and a pretty good return down the sideline. Watch out with some blockers to boot. Breaks into the open field, and a big return that time by Jordan Marcucci. Again, the Blazers 23rd nationally in rushing defense coming into the game today, allowing just 91.3 per game.
If you're a OC.
Robinson again trying to get rid of it. He won't be able to, though. Big rush, and it caves in on him all the way back at the 42. Dawson will stay in the pistol. They'll give it to him again. Wrapped up this time, though, and not much of a gain there at all. To redshirt freshman. They got three guys in the backfield right here. They'll run it behind Karcher, but Felder not going to get there.
Under center, got a quarterback change as well.
Felder going to go under center this time. Going to take it, going to hand it off, and not going to get there. So how about that? A different look this time. Martin will take this snap as well with Felder in the backfield. Going to take it, going to give it. Felder this time going to make it into the end zone. Pay dirt for Felder. Joel Felder in the end zone. Will now step in there. And he will start looking to throw the football in the air. Does so. Put some zip on it up across the 30-yard line and has a man. 34 again, Bo Talavas, the tight end in there. Going to swing this one out right here. That's Woods. Up across the 35. So now they'll bring in two backs. They'll split one of them out. That's Woods who goes in motion. Going to throw this one up, sideline, one-on-one, and what a grab, back shoulder. And boy, DB never knew it was coming. Back deep, Anthony Green stands right with his heels at the 10-yard line and just going to hit this one up right here. Fair catch signal going to be caught right at the 17. The Blazers, you got to try to figure out a way to pin your ears back and get after Robinson here and force the punt situation. Again, Robinson just going to keep this one all the way. He has certainly had his share of snaps this year and a very capable quarterback. Going to throw it right here, and he's got a man off to the races. That's Kennedy, 30, 20, no one will catch him. What a ball, what a grab, and a house call. Long way to go and a short time to get there. A free play perhaps for the Blazers right here. Just going to throw this one up long. Got a man down there, and they completed at the 35. Wow. Again, from the 35, they'll keep it on the ground. Reddick trying to find a little running room over on the far sideline. Getting the play in there. They're going to throw it right here. Throw this one out. It's going to be caught. They're going to say it was a catch. He did get his hands under it.
Blazers have all three.
And this time again, going to take it right here, throw it out deep in the flats. Got a man there. Council Allen trying to split a couple defenders, trying to fight towards that first down markers. The Blazers trying to score here before the end of the third quarter. And this time setting his feet, throwing across the middle. It's got a man inside the 10-yard line, down to the 5. It'll almost a minute gone here in this fourth quarter, trying to get to the outside. Felder unable to do so, though. Blazer defense makes a play right here. Martin out of the pistol right here. Blazer defense trying to make a stop. 7 in the box right here, and they corral running back around the neck. Credit the Braves' pressure for a lot of that. Of course, across the middle right here. The catch and the hit in order to overcome a lot of that like they had over the last couple years. And this one is intercepted. Intercepted on the other end, and now back the other way, off and running. Jamil Davis, the DB, will take it 5 and into the end zone, touchdown. So a pick 6 for Jamil Davis there. And of course, 22 CIAA North title champs as the Blazers swing one out here and get a few yards up to the 30-yard line. Big hit right there, but got to learn a little bit of touch. We saw Jamison earlier, though, and just a little bit off the mark here today. Just really could not get in any kind of rhythm. And
got some Valdosta talent up front and on the defensive line as well.
Here's Boyd, going to throw that one, and that one's going to be tipped, and that one's going to be intercepted. Man in motion here across the formation. Felder on the ground, trying to get to the outside, but the Blazers' pursuit was good on that one for no gain. The shadows creep across the field. A lot of 4 o'clock starts this year for the Blazers. And this time Felder just nowhere to go this time. Gets twisted down back at the 40-yard line. He'll lose about 5 or 6. So still learning a lot of names and numbers through the first few weeks of the season as we've already seen some different lineup and jersey combinations. There's a good ball right there. Stays on his feet. Does Hall, who we were talking about after taking a big shot, and was able to get a couple more yards there. Of Harris Boyd rolling to his left. Looking down the field, firing. He's got a man there. That's a good ball up across the 45, and another Blazer first down, a gain of 11. They've been able to move the football between the 20s a good bit of the day. And that one just slipped right out of his hand, and it's picked up back the other way. Off and running. That ball just slipped right out of the hands. Blazer defense trying to dig in for one more stop here. Trying to at least force a fourth down. Going to set up a little screen right here and week on the road, and this will be a 50-yard attempt for Taylor Harris, along a 47, so this would be his longest of the year. The lefty puts his foot into it. It's reaching, but it's going to be just a little bit short. He hit it right where the warm-up shot before that went. All right, again, Coach, again, 31-0 the final score. Your message to the team following this ball game. Obviously, there were things you had to be proud about, certainly some things to build off of, but what were some of those coaching moments that you take away from this that you share with the team?
Yeah, obviously, I didn't have them ready to play today. It wasn't, didn't play well at all. Like we talked about defense early on, but in the second half, both sides of the ball didn't play well. Turned the ball over way too many times offensively, and ultimately, it's on, we still have goals in front of us that we can attain, but it's on us to take it 1 week at a time and get that fixed starting tomorrow.
There we go. Again, 31-0, the final score here today. But again, we move on to next week. Of course, Lenore Ryan coming to town, a big ball game. We'll talk about that one a little bit later on in the program when we come back a little bit later. But first, coming up, it is the player spotlight. Again, we will sit down with a couple of the Blazers that made an impact on the game today. And, of course, throughout the season, we'll sit down with those guys next. Coming up, stay with us right here on the Graham Craig Coaches Show.
Synovus is the bank that helps you step up to the plate for your big league dreams. Get there with Synovus.
I'm just being myself, cool as can be. When I'm being myself, you wish you were me. It's so easy. Get out your own way. Easy peasy, breezy, done. What's the point if it ain't no fun? I don't.
Hey Blazer fans, Williams Hotel Group is South Georgia's hospitality headquarters with 8 award-winning hotels in Valdosta. Williams Hotel Group has everything to meet your lodging, event, and meeting space needs. Come see us at any one of our conveniently located properties off I-75, exits 16 and 18, or visit us at williamshotelgroup.com. And as always, go Blazers!
Here on the Graham Craig Show. Again, thank you for being with us. Time now for the Player Spotlight. This is the portion of the program where we sit down with a couple of the Blazers, of course, who made an impact on the game this week and on the season. And we're here with Council Allen, one of the big-time receivers. Council, thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Thank y'all. The final result, certainly what you guys didn't want, obviously, but you had a lot of big plays today. Very encouraging to see you back out there again. Talk a little bit about your game and some of those, field flipping type plays that you had today, some big catches in the past game.
Right. I just trusted my O-line, trusted my quarterback. We just did routine plays. Same thing we do in practice. We practice how we play. So I just went out there, did the same thing I do in practice.
We were joking around. I interviewed you a couple years ago, and I'm old, so I can never remember when it is. And I was joking around with Coach Craig before the game. I was like, how many years has Council been here now? And he's like, I don't know, 8 or 9. I don't know. But, man, we appreciate you being here, man. So thankful you came back, for that grad year. I know you graduate in December. First of all, talk about what you're majoring in, man. What's your plans, man?
So I major in mechanical engineering right now. Yeah. And so after school, I really want to go to the NFL, but if the NFL don't work out, I'm going to still be successful without it.
Sure.
Like, I'll be going back to Miami, working with the Port of Miami, and operating the cranes.
There you go.
So I'm successful with it or without it.
Yeah,
so.
You've got a plan A and a plan B, and maybe plan A will work, man. I mean,
but it's my plan A. I'm not looking at nothing right now, but my plan A is how to go.
Sometimes they say if you got a plan B, plan A ain't going to work, right?
So right now, mixing sometimes. That plan A is all I got right now. That's in my mindset. Plan A is all I got. I got to go.
Talk about it from a mental standpoint. I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of people look at football, they think it's just this physical game where you guys are just running and crashing each other the whole time, but so much of this game is mental. It's played between the ears. Talk about the mental part of the game and what your mentality has to be when you come out here on Saturday.
Oh, the mentality got to be amazing. You gotta be a dog. You got to really want it. You got to really want it. Like, and I really want it, but it just can't be me.
Right.
Like, it's got to be as a whole. So everyone got to want it.
Right. You've been through a lot of different times now with this team, having been here for so many years as we joke around. But you've seen it all, man. You've been to a national championship. I mean, you've been, you've kind of experienced a little bit of everything. So talk about, this program over the last several years. I know it's a struggle this year. You guys 2-2, tough ball game here, obviously this week against UNC Pembroke. But moving forward, a lot of football left to be played. What do you think about this team moving forward? Is this a team that can turn it around and kind of build some momentum?
I promise you, yes. They have the drive. We just have to want it. Yeah. Like, just small penalties, we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. Right. That's when sometimes people might get down. Yeah. But it's my job to keep them up.
Yeah, and you talked about that. That's very important. You got to have that leadership in the locker room. I think that some of the best teams are not just coach-led, they're also player-led.
Yes, sir.
You guys have players like yourself that lead in the locker room and by example as well, and that's what you got to have. Keep doing that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I see the talent out there. I think this team certainly has that capability. But talk about what you're working on. Anything in particular to better your game? Anything in particular to get this receiving core even better than they already are?
I came in talking about me only because this is a team, us.
Right. Yeah.
We always break down on us. So everything got to be with us. As a whole, we got to build as a team. We got to come as one because the team have so much potential. And I love Coach Craig because he always, like, when it doesn't go our way, he put himself in that fire. But, we are whole. We are whole. That was everybody's job today, and we didn't execute. So
I know it was a frustrating loss, and we'll wrap up here in a second. But the one thing I did see out of this team today was a lot of fight. And people taking up for each other. There was one play in particular where, obviously your quarterback gets nailed after the play. Your offensive lineman come running in. Yeah, they're going to get a penalty, but you know what? They're going to get it from the coaches if they don't stand up for the guy, right?
Completely right.
So I see you guys fighting for each other, and I can tell that tightness is there. That's, I think, what's ultimately going to push you guys across the finish line.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. We just got to come as one, just one, not pointing fingers, and no one pointed fingers today.
Right.
That's why I loved it. Like, everybody just try to come together. That's why I try to keep the energy high and just keep fighting out there.
I love it.
Even when we losing, we have to fight.
Yeah, have to take ownership of it and just push forward. You guys will do that, man. Council, thanks for being with us right here. Again, our offensive player of the game, Council Allen, receiver, big game here today. Look forward to seeing more out of this young man throughout the season. Here now with Greg Hudgins, again, the transfer, and we appreciate him, our defensive player of the week right here as part of our Blazer Spotlight segment. Greg, great game today. I know team-wise it didn't go the way you guys wanted it to, but talk about your play because you're a guy that certainly stood out along that defensive front.
Appreciate it. I think we came in with a solid game plan, just executed the calls as best as I could, and then made the plays when they came my way.
Yeah, there were definitely times where, field position, man, they get the ball, they're fortunate, they get the turnover. You guys start with your heels, your backs against the wall a little bit, but y'all were able to dig in. You turned them away multiple times, especially in that first half. Dug in as best you could the second half and played really tough to keep these guys out of the end zone. Talk about the way that this defensive unit has come together so far in the early part of the season and what you guys are working on to get better.
I think it's been great so far. Just a lot of guys getting the chemistry down. We have a lot of young guys who have to, get used to being on the field and just getting acclimated to that game speed. But I think everybody's doing well. And I'm happy that everybody's, starting to come along a bit. We just got to keep going forward and stay in the playbooks and watch film and, get a different outcome.
You got to keep grinding, right?
Yes, sir.
Keep grinding. You guys are doing that. You started your career at Purdue,
yes, sir.
and then you went JUCO, and then you came back. So you've been through a lot of different levels of football. What's the biggest difference now that you're here at Valdosta State, which I know we're glad to have you, of course, here. But talk about that experience of being at a Purdue and then the JUCO experience, and now you're here. Talk about the differences in the levels of football and your experiences personally.
I feel like personally, as far as the O and D line play, I feel like that's the biggest difference. I feel like you can have great skill players at any level, really.
Sure.
But I really feel like the difference is up front in the O&D line.
Yeah, and that's where you play out, of course, raking havoc up there across the defensive line. And so looking forward to calling your name a lot more throughout the year.
Yes, sir.
What are your plans beyond college, man? You got any other aspirations, or are you one of these guys that's, man, looking right at pro football and hoping to land a career in the league?
No,
man?
that's definitely a dream of mine, absolutely. If that doesn't work out, I'd like to coach. I'd like to get into real estate after that.
Okay.
And then just something where I can, help my community and just do anything to, be a positive role model for, others.
That's what I love about these guys we're interviewing right here today. Greg, of course, Council that was on earlier. Man, you guys have that plan, man. You've already been thinking about this stuff. I love it because a lot of times, you get, college-age folks that aren't always sure about what direction they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you guys have that vision, that plan, and the mentality to make it happen. I'll ask you the same thing I asked Council, like what is the mentality got to be every Saturday for you guys, because so much of this game is played mentally as opposed to, physically, of course, as well, too. But what is that mindset got to be when you take the field on Saturdays?
I mean, you have to be ready for war. I feel like it's really that simple.
Yeah.
Either come in and, play hard and do what you're supposed to do and you won't get beat, or, you're going to make mistakes and,
60-minute
war. Get beat, yeah. So
exactly. I love
just
it.
coming in ready to go. I feel like overall for me, like that's just coming in ready, having a great night's sleep before, and just coming in ready to go.
That's important, man. You got to have your rest, right? You got to
Yes,
have your
sir.
rest. All right, Greg, thanks for being with us right
Thank
here.
you.
Our Defensive Player of the Week, Greg Hudgins, joining us right here on the Player Spotlight. Thank you, partner. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout. When we return, we will rejoin Coach Graham Craig as we talk about this week's matchup against Lenore-Ryan, and we will ask him our coach's question of the week. All that and more straight ahead. Stay with us.
Come for the small town feel. Stay for the big adventures. In Valdosta, adventures await around every corner. Every day brings unique experiences and unexpected thrills, creating memories worth staying for. Where small town charm meets big time experiences. Valdosta. Stick around for the memories.
At Chick-fil-A St. Augustine Road, we pride ourselves on providing the freshest, most quality food with the highest tier of customer service. Whether you're picking up in our speedy drive-thru, enjoying a meal in our inviting dining room, or having your food delivered to your home, office, or venue, our goal is to provide you with the most exceptional food and service. We're working better together to serve our guests and community at the highest level. We look forward to seeing you.
This is a college commercial, but not like those college commercials. These are real students, real professors offering real help, real roommates. That's her real dog. Those are real national champions.
Why don't you just turn around and hug your brother?
That's her real brother. That really happened. These are real students, making their families really, really proud. So, in a world of AI and stock footage, here's something that's all real. Valdosta State University.
And welcome back to the Graham Craig Coaches Show. Again, I'm Dave Garner. Thanks for being with us right here as we, of course, come out of the Player Spotlight. There is great talking to Council and Greg, of course, this week. And Coach, now is we're rejoined with you right here at Bazemore Hyder as we kind of cap off this last game, of course, against UNC Pembroke. Look forward now to Lenore-Ryan as the Bears come in. We'll talk about that one in a second. But first, it is our fan question of the week. And again, the question comes to us from Wade from Nassau, Bahamas. You've got fans and listeners all the way in other parts of the world here. But Wade's question is congratulations on being elevated to head coach of the Blazers. I know Blazer fans expect a championship about every other year. But with the mass exodus at the end of last season, it's only fair that you be given time to get to that level. However, with the portal, we've seen teams turn around their fortunes in quite a hurry. So the question is, what's your national championship timetable? And he's saying, would you please stay until you've won one? Because I know that obviously there's been a change in coaches there. So again, Wade from Nassau, Bahamas, wanting you to stick around till you win that natty. But you were a part of that team, of course, last year that went to the national championship. You've been through a lot of successful programs over your coaching tenure. You and I were talking about them off camera. What does that timetable look like? What does it take to build a champion?
Yeah, there's a lot of returners from that team, a lot of new guys that have come in and really worked toward it. Obviously, didn't play the way we wanted to today, and we got to continue to grow a lot of new guys that got to continue to play more together. And you don't want to have games like this, obviously, but we got to find a way to learn from these and figure out what new guys are going to contribute for us and figure out how to get those things fixed.
You're going to stick around till we win the Natty, I guess, right?
Yes.
There we go. There we go. Coach, I'm putting you on the spot right here.
Yeah.
But no, thank you. Thank you, Wade, again from Nassau, Bahamas with the question of the week. If you have a question for Coach Craig that you would like answered right here on the program, email us at asktheblazers@gmail.com. Again, asktheblazers@gmail.com, and we will get your question on during a future episode of the program. All right, Coach, once again, we appreciate you being with us. I know it's hard sitting down after a game like this, but let's turn the page. Let's talk a little bit about Lenoir-Rhyne. They come in here next week. You guys are back at home now after this long road trip that you guys have been on. Talk about Lenoir-Rhyne and what you feel like those guys are going to bring to Titletown.
Yeah, they're a playoff football team. They've the last couple of years been a playoff team. Came here the year before I got here in 23 and put Valdosta State out of the playoffs that year. So a team that does a really good job, really good on both sides of the ball. Definitely got a challenge coming here next week.
Yep. Hopefully it won't be pouring down rain and crazy like it was a couple of years ago when they came to Titletown. I know that the weather is always the great equalizer there, but certainly looking forward to that ball game. Coach, again, thank you for being with us right here on the program. Lenoir-Rhyne in here next week. Again, just a reminder, you can catch all of the Coach Graham Craig Show on Blazer Sports Media. I want to encourage you guys to log in, check out the shows each and every week. We appreciate the support. I want to thank, of course, our sponsors. I want to thank you. And Coach, again, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. I know you guys are definitely headed in the right direction, so keep after them.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Graham Craig joining us right here. That's going to wrap it up for this week's segment of the program. Once again, Coach Graham Craig joining us right here, and we will see you next week. Once again, I'm Dave Garner joining you right here on the program and looking forward to it throughout the rest of the season. That's going to wrap things up. We'll see you next week right here on the Graham Craig Coaches Show.